Okay, I think we've got audio, and I'm working on getting some video here. Uh, if you're out there and can hear me, if you can just let me know, I greatly appreciate that. Looking, this is new to me. Let's see. All right, let me try this here. Man, I gotta. Hey, everybody, I'm gonna have to. Oh, let me move this lamp. There we go. That's a little better. Hey, everybody, what's going on? This is your pal Barbecue 17 here, and it's November 3rd. And I used to do a little segment every now and then on actionfigurebarbecue.com that was barbecue's Bonfire, which was usually just a little bit of me doing whatever random stuff was going I was doing that week or going through my head that week. But this time I'm going to start using this live stream weekly, hopefully on Monday nights, as my updated version of Barbecue's Bonfire. So I hope you're looking forward to it. And I certainly am. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I appreciate everybody's comments last week. Had some really nice comments, and I appreciate them all. I was trying to do a couple things just a little bit better this week, but this is still largely, unscripted and uncensored and unprepared, and just me going off the cuff for the most part. So I'm really looking forward to this. I am trying to figure out a way. There we go. All right. I'm assuming everybody can still see me here. So I've got some this week. One thing I did in advance is I actually got a couple pictures. So if I'm doing something where I really want to show something close up, I do not have to jump back and forth and try to hold something up to the screen, because that just does not work very well. So anyways, let's get started. It's November 3rd, and today we are talking a little bit at first about Halloween. I hope everyone had a great Halloween. I had a lot of fun. I was off for a couple days. I actually had jury duty one day, but I got dismissed, as I was being picked as an alternate. And then I ended up next couple days there, Thursday, Friday, Saturday was lots of Halloween fun. We did trick or treating with my daughter and her friend and her friend's family. We ran all around lots of places on Halloween night. I'll watch quite a few movies, but on Thursday night, we did something that we do every year and involved my parents as well. We did some pumpkin carving. So we had some jack-o'-lanterns that came out, and it was a lot of fun. So I'm going to show those off tonight. I've actually got them pulled up here. Let's see if I can get my tech crew to pull those up right now. Let's see if this works. I am going to. There we go. All right. Maybe that. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. Let's see here. Oh. Here we go. Here we go. Okay, I think I got it. Give me a second. Like I said, some of this is new. If you are here and still watching this, I greatly appreciate you hanging in there and being patient, because I really want to show off these jack-o'-lanterns. And I'm trying to get it so I can share the screen so you guys can see, what's going on here. So, here we go. All right, y'all ready? So, first of all, this is Luthion's jack-o'-lantern. As you know, Luthien is my wife, and she did a really good job with her jack-o'-lantern. And I kind of thought it looks like it has an emoji type expression to it. She was the second person done of the 4 people that carved jack-o'-lanterns. I do it. Our daughter Umbreon does it, and my dad does it, and I do it. And my mom never carves a jack-o'-lantern. She always just kind of watches everyone else's, and she played with the dogs while we were carving jack-o'-lanterns. So this is Luthion's. If you like Luthion's jack-o'-lantern, tell me what you think in the comments, or if you carved a jack-o'-lantern, I'm curious what you did as well. So this was great. It's very classic in one way, eyes, a mouth, all those things a jack-o'-lantern needs. But I kind of like the eyes. They're I don't know if they're laughing like really hard, like just super joyful, um, or maybe they're lasers. I'm guessing they're joyful laughter, but we will have to see. So, yeah, that's Luthien's jack o' lantern. So next up, we have another jack o' lantern planned. Planned. We have another jack o' lantern that is was part of the contest, and this is from my dad. Now, my dad is very talented. He's very skilled at stuff, and yeah, I think he looked up like a picture on his phone, but he totally just kind of, did this off the cuff. Now, he was the third person done with the jack o' lantern carving, and I am trying to get it. Here we go. So this is my dad's jack o' lantern. Look at that. I think he had a little bit of an accident, had to use a toothpick to fix one of the branches on the tree. But you got a spooky tree with eyes and a mouth. You got a skull hanging down there. You got a bat just flying by. He took a lot of time. He was, definitely very careful. And I think his jack-o'-lantern had the best stem as well. You can't really see it that great from the picture, but he did a pretty good job with his jack. So, all right. Now, let's take a look at the next jack-o'-lantern here. Okay, the next jack-o'-lantern is from Umbreon 13, which is my daughter, aka Adora. And so, what did Adora do? Let's find out as I pull it up here. There's got to be an easier way to get these pictures up, but I ain't figured it out yet. All right. So last year, let me show it to you first. And if you have a keen and perceptive eye, you may notice one little thing which was intentional. She did Michael Myers, and she carved Halloween on the sides. So there is one incredible job. She did carving. She used whatever the pumpkin carving skill is, where you actually just kind of break the skin, but you do enough so that it shines through red in different places. She carved out Halloween, although if you look, there's only one E in Halloween on the pumpkin, and there should be two. So last year, she's a little bit younger, obviously, and she did Chucky from Child's Play, and it was really, really good. When she was carving the letters, she wasn't thinking last year, and instead of Chucky, Chucky, she wrote Chucky, Chucy. So we have been laughing for the past year that we had Chucy on a pumpkin. So this year, to be funny, she left out the E in Halloween, and we have Halloween. So this one was really good. I've liked them all so far, but I'm saving mine for that, and it's not because it's the best. It's because, well, let me pull mine up. So last year I did a werewolf, and it turned out okay. And by okay, I mean it was. I like Icarus. I flew too close to the sun. I tried to do something really impressive, and it didn't turn out that great. So this year I'm like, I'm gonna keep it a little bit simpler here this time. Gonna make it a little bit simpler, and I'm gonna do something. And I decided to do the Invisible Man, probably my second favorite of the Universal classic horror movies. Yeah, let's take a look at the Invisible Man. All right, so here's the Invisible Man by Barbecue 17. Just soak it in. If you're just listening to the audio, you are looking at an oval that has two dark eyes and a nose, and that's it. I thought it was going to turn out better than it did. I didn't really leave myself any space to kind of carve letters. My wife looked at it and she said, "Oh, I like it." I said, "Then you know what it is." And she said, "Well, isn't it like a cyclops with a big grin?" No, it was not. I was really trying to do, Jack Griffin's look when he's all wrapped up. He's got the glasses. You can see his fake nose, and everything else was just going to be invisible. So maybe he's not wrapped up here. I honestly at one point left a little bit of a strip of pumpkin to try to make it look like he had a little bit of the bandages still around his face. Man, it just did not work. Uh it kind of looks like Snake Eyes from the animated GI Joe. It kind of looks like Snake Eyes, just with I don't know. It's pretty bad. So, anyways, yeah, that was my take on the Invisible Man pumpkin. So, not the best. Sorry, everybody. But we'll go a little bit on a higher note here. Last week I was talking about some Trick or Treat Studios things I found. I found that Wolfman bust from Trick or Treat Studios when I was down at Toy Federation in Greer, South Carolina. But I'd also showed off my parents had found a really cool Trick or Treat Studios Christmas ornament called Holiday Horrors of the Wolfman, who is my favorite Universal monster, and that is my favorite Universal Studios classic horror film. And while we were carving jack-o'-lanterns, I was looking up pictures of the Invisible Man. But I actually found that there was an Invisible Man Christmas ornament as well, and he was like $9 or something. So I ordered him, and he showed up pretty quickly. So I'm gonna have another Universal monster in my tree this year, which I think is pretty exciting. And I do have a little bit better picture of the Invisible Man ornament here, so you can kind of see, what he looks like, and I think he's pretty cool. Let's see here. Invisible Man, show yourself. There we go. So this is my standard display area I use for all my reviews, and he's pretty cool. He's kind of in that classic, he's wearing the smoking, maybe it's not really a smoking jacket. It's that long robe. I think some places call it the Kemp House look. He's at Dr. Kemp's house. When he's wearing that, he's got the really cool glasses that have the protection on the sides as well. He's not wearing the fake nose here. He's not wearing the fake hair. He's literally just wrapped up with the glasses on. It's a pretty cool looking ornament. So I did take it out to try to take a couple pictures, but he's not built like a bust or anything. So you really do have to hang him from a tree limb to get him to look okay. So we'll just pass those up. But I'm liking these. I'm going to have to track down some more of these here. It's really fun just to have a nice random mix of, odd, unusual, fun things on the Christmas tree next to, all the other stuff. So Invisible Man is definitely going to be hanging out this year on the. So now I've got Invisible Man, the Wolfman. Who will be next? I don't know. We'll have to see who I can find. I'm hoping that they have a Phantom of the Opera, or maybe a Dracula. I think the Metaluna Mutant is probably too much to ask. I don't know if this island Earth is popular enough for Christmas ornaments, but maybe. I might be surprised if I do a little bit of, a little Googling after this or anything. So, yeah. Anyways, so we talked about the Invisible Man, and we talked about pumpkins. Well, let's talk about somebody who was doing a great Wolfman impression that I ran across. So you guys know Zoe, my dog Zoe. Everybody likes Zoe. Zoe does a review every year for 31 Days of Toy Terror. She usually reviews a dog toy of some kind. Zoe has been a big hit and enjoys being a part of the countdown now for, I think, the past 3. I think she's done 3 years now. But we do have another member of our family who is new that I think I've mentioned once or twice in reviews. But we do have a new dog that we adopted, and from the same rescue group that we got Zoe from 5 years ago. And he's a pretty cool dog. And I actually saw him and just loved him from this first picture I saw, and automatically wanted to call him Crypto. And obviously you can see why. He doesn't quite look like Crypto from Superman, but he looks like him pretty well, I think. This is Crypto, and he is a great dog. And I took this picture on Halloween because during the day he was just chilling out. My daughter was at school. Things are pretty calm around the house. and he is just the most mellow little guy. He is so calm. He's not a puppy. He's like 3 years old. So, but he's just a very lovable, he looks very serious a lot of the time. Now, sometimes if you get playing with him or if he gets kind of, run around a little bit, he starts, the mouth opens up and, most time he just looks kind of serious. But anyways, Crypto, there you go. I found out how to change his easier. So he was kind of making a really silly face, and I knew what was going to happen. I knew he was going to yawn, and he is like the least threatening dog. Him and Zoe are like the least threatening dogs you can imagine. They're probably not very good guard dogs at all. But I knew he was going to yawn, and there's something funny, dogs look. I love when my dogs yawn. I love it. I think it's cute. I had one dog. We had a lovely Doberman pointer lab mix, whatever he was, named Canoe. And whenever he would yawn, I would always say I was going to make a wish. Well, I caught that Crypto was going to yawn, and I went to take a picture, and he looks ferocious. And so all day on Halloween, I showed everybody and said this was Crypto doing his best impression of the Wolfman. So I think he looks adorably fierce. But yeah, that's my dog. That's what I'm going to use a stream for. I'm going to talk about figures. I'm going to review action figures. And I'm going to talk about my dog. Listen, we met up in person. If you're a regular reader of Action Figure Barbecue, we met up somewhere. We recognized each other. We started talking. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to talk about action figures. I'm going to rant about things. I'm going to talk about my dog. And we're probably going to talk about classic Universal horror stuff. So that's the way it's going to be. If you don't like it, you can check out now. All right. So one thing I do want to do on here, though, is I want to do some live reviews. I'm going to do some live reviews about an action figure. Last week, I talked about one of the Dr. Amalgam's body bags. So I'm decided I'm going to pick something kind of from newer. I'm not going to grab something old most weeks. I'm going to try to do something that's new. And one of the newer figures that I got recently was the Riddler from DC Multiverse, McFarlane's DC Multiverse line. And they've released a few Riddlers over the years. They released the Arkham City Riddler from the video game, I'm going to say 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. They released a very classic Riddler. I think it was called like Riddler DC Classic. McFarlane usually puts where they source the figure from. Usually it's from a storyline or a particular comic or a movie or TV show. So they did the Riddler from, they call it DC Classic. It's a very classic, I would say almost like the style guide look, maybe from the 70s or 80s, almost a Super Friends style Riddler in the jumpsuit. And then they released two Riddlers from Batman Forever. They did the Jim Carrey in the green jumpsuit, and then they did the one, I can't remember what I think they called it Final Suit or something, where he's in a suit that's like, is it green and gold or pale green? It's from the end of the movie. His hair is like really wild. He's been, sucking all the brain energy out using the TV device or whatever it is. They also did the Riddler. Was it the Paul Dano Riddler from the Batman, the Robert Pattinson movie? I think they called him Robert Pattinson Batman. The Matt Reeves directed the Batman. So McFarlane's done a lot of Jokers, but I'm actually surprised by how many Riddlers they've done. They've done quite a few Riddlers as well. It's weird because like McFarlane will do they'll do like a lot of one character, and then there'll be like a super popular character that they never touch. I feel like McFarlane really does not do much with Harley Quinn. I know the it's not called Kickstarter, but it's whatever McFarlane's is, and it did just pass. So we're getting some new Harley Quinn figures, which is great because this is like the first time in all of these years that they've had the license. And of course, they have it through sometime next year, and then it's going to Mattel. And I'm going to talk about that in a little bit because I have some very mixed feelings about that. Some people seem to think that's going to be, fantastic and usher in this new era for DC action figures. I just don't think that's going to be the case. I mean, I know McFarlane's DC stuff is not perfect. I was talking about this with someone at my local GameStop earlier today because they've got that Godzilla versus Wonder Woman set, and man, Wonder Woman's it's pretty cool. I know it's just the Gal Gadot body on with a new head, but it's pretty cool looking modern Wonder Woman, maybe like a new 52-ish or rebirth era Wonder Woman. But man, everybody wants that collector's edition, that great was it from Who is Wonder Woman that came out like 2 years ago and no one saw, and now it's like $100 or more for that figure. And we're not seeing anything about re-releasing it. So I don't even know what the heck I was talking about. Oh, the Riddler. So they've done a lot of Riddlers. This is the Hush version of the Riddler. Um, I, I think Hush is a really good book. It's a really strong book. 2003, Jeff Loeb story, and I think definitely Jim Lee is the the artist for it. And Hush is one of those books that for me, it's kind of like there's a couple books to me that really like have defined what the characters look like over the years. Like, I mean, obviously we're 20 some years past Hush, but when I think of so many members of the Batman, the Bat family, when I think of so many members of Batman's, rogues gallery of villains, I think of those Hush versions of the characters. It's that, or I think of the ones from Nightfall. Those are two of those comics or events to me that like really gave very definitive looks for those characters that have always stuck with me. And Hush is one of those. And we're kind of where McFarlane is kind of the clock is running out, and I really feel like he's pushing out a ton of stuff. I mean, it's very clear that DC Multiverse has been McFarlane's bread and butter for like the past, I'm gonna say the past at least 3 or 4 years now. Early on, there was, when he really came back into articulated action figures around 2019 or so, 2018. There was a big focus and a push on Spawn, but I feel like that's kind of fallen away a bit because of how successful DC Multiverse was. And so we're really seeing tons of stuff put out. There's a great Scarecrow, which I haven't found yet. But I really, really, really would love to have a pretty good Hush roster before the end is out. I mean, just some of those characters, that's just the way in my mind they look. I love a Catwoman in that, at least that design, I don't think we're getting quite the Jim Lee style. It's kind of a mixture of, inspired by, but the outfit is right. That's what I'm looking for. I don't specifically need it to look like it just crawled off the page in the Jim Lee style, but at least, the design of the character from that era is what I want. And that, I mean, Hush had most of the major Batman villains. And of course, we've got Hush. McFarlane did Hush very, very early on. They did a great Hush Batman. But really, a Hush Harley Quinn, a Hush Poison Ivy, the Scarecrow that's coming out. I don't think he's specifically Hush, but he doesn't. It works for me. Works for me there. So I don't know. Hush is just one of those things that I really like the designs for those characters. They make great. Even though it's hard to say it's modern at this point, they make great, more modern